Good afternoon. My name is Elaine Peters, and it's so nice to see all of you gathered here for the summer solstice celebration. We are a green sanctuary congregation, and every year we celebrate the winter solstice and the summer solstice. Today we're going to tell you about the summer solstice. And now Ginny Peters will give you a reflection.
Okay. In pagan tradition, this is the Midsummer Festival. It's called a movable festival because we don't get to choose the time or date. It's all we can say beforehand that it happens on or about June 21st. We don't know the time. To explain what all that means, everyone knows that the Earth is going around the sun, revolves around the sun, rotates on its axis through night and day. It does not revolve in a perfect circle. This orbit is such that it's the greatest distance this year on July 4th. Yet, it's going to be quite warm. The reason is that has nothing to do with the season. The warmth of the summer is caused by the tilt of the Earth on its axis. So, summer solstice or summertime more generally is that the Earth is tilted most towards the sun. The more direct sunlight is why it's warm this time of year. Of course, everything is reversed in the southern hemisphere. And for them, it's on December 21st. Now, how high the sun ascends in the sky depends on your latitude. In other words, distance measured in angles from the equator. Example, if you're at the North Pole, the sun's never going to rise above 23.5 degrees. Reason? That's the tilt of the Earth. The angle becomes higher as you move south. But so at a given latitude, you're going to have the sun going higher. Fine. But there's also a factor of longitude, or meridian, going east-west. And where that comes into play is local time, wherever you live, it is noon when the sun is highest in the sky. And for those of us living up here in the temperate zone, that is when the sun faces due south. All right, now this year, the way that works out is that particular meridian where the sun is highest, coincident with the on a particular latitude. Think about Rome or Prague. That would be noon. Translate time to us, and that's why we're saying it's 5:13 in our time. All right. Having said all this, I don't know if that really helps at all. And if it clears up really understanding, and certainly having said everything I did, you really wouldn't want to be tasked with telling people when the next solstice is going to occur. So, it's good news in pagan tradition. Wherever you live, it's summer solstice, the moment of solstice, when the sun is highest in the sky. For us, that's when the sun is due south. And totally useless is the demonstration that I set up here because it's an overcast day. What I wanted to do was show you, if you have set up a rod stick facing due north-south, if you stand at that end, at that solstice moment, local time, the sun is going to, your shadow will be directly over the stick. Sorry it didn't work. Try it on your own next year.
And now we will hear some poetry by Kathy DeVolt.
Being in these lovely surroundings and listening to the birds talking to one another, it seems very appropriate to read this poem by Mary Oliver, When I Am Among the Trees. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, but equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment, of never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again, "It's simple," they say, "and you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine." And now Dana will speak of reflection.
So the first question that comes to mind in this gathering is, why are we here? Why is it important to observe and celebrate this celestial event, the summer solstice? I think I found one answer in the New English translation of a Japanese novel, How Do You Live? By Genzaburo Yoshino. My younger son taught English in Japan for over a year, and he told me that every Japanese student at one time or another reads this book during their school career. It's kind of like our Catcher in the Rye. The novel was published in 1937, and it's set in Tokyo in that same year. It's the story of a middle school student growing up, facing the big issues of how to treat others with the help of his uncle, since his father has died. The book concerns weighty issues like Japan's connections with the rest of the world, and also day-to-day middle school problems like how to deal with bullies. The author, Yoshino, was a socialist, a humanist, an internationalist in the Japan of 1930s, when militarism and tribalism of the Japanese authoritarian state was becoming extremely oppressive. In fact, Yoshino spent 18 months in jail because of his dissent against the Japanese dictatorship. Perhaps to escape the notice of censors, Yoshino's book delivers a gentle and subtle message about the inherent worth and dignity of the individual, the interconnectedness of human culture, the need for justice and peace in international relations. Sounds a little bit like our 8 principles, right? So getting back to the summer solstice, the book's discussion of Copernicus is where I found the answer to that question of why we're here, why we should be celebrating this celestial event. Copernicus, of course, was the Renaissance astronomer who formulated the model of the universe that placed the sun in the center rather than the earth. The Japanese middle schooler's uncle explains the significance of this mind-blowing discovery. Copernicus's myth-shattering scientific insight altered how humans viewed themselves in the cosmos. The uncle goes on to say that this discovery can also be applied to how we view ourselves in the world. As a small child, you think the whole world revolves around you. Your needs are all that really matter. A big part of growing up is moving beyond this selfishness and realizing you can't be the center of attention all the time. Of course, many people never grow up. So here we are, celebrating the summer solstice, and our realization that we're not at the center of the universe. The Earth orbits the sun rather than the other way around. Everything doesn't revolve around us. Instead, we are part of a glorious celestial system. So cheers to Copernicus, And happy summer solstice, everybody. Thank you.
Now we are going to have a little bit of entertainment. The music you will be listening to is a song by Cat Stevens called Morning Has Broken. The performers are Catherine Ripley, Angela Cisa, Charlene Greenberg, Jill Marcus, Jane Weiler, and Mary Ellen Pierce. They will be playing a variety of instruments: ukulele, guitar, ukulele, sorry, and drums. So let us sit back and enjoy this tribute to the summer solstice.
Hi, Catherine Ripley, Green Sanctuary. The song Morning Has Broken was made popular by Cat Stevens, but he's the arranger. The lyrics are by Eleanor Farjeon, and the music is a traditional Messian Scottish hymn. With extra music by Rick Wakeman, who is an English keyboardist and a member of the group Yes.
Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first word. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. Sweet the rains do fall, sunlit from heaven, like the first dew fall on the first grass. Praise for the sweetness of golden morning, sprung in completeness, where is sweet life. Mine is the sunlight, mine is the morning, born of the one light, Eden's away. Praise with the nation, praise every morning, God's recreation of the new day. Morning has broken like the first morning. Blackbird has spoken like the first word. Praise for the singing, praise for the morning, praise for them springing fresh from the world. And now we will hear another reflection from Janet Benowitz.
We are gathered here together to celebrate the summer solstice, whose name is derived from the Latin solstitium, which means a stopping or standing of the sun. I have had the pleasure of living in Cornwall, England, where the Druid traditions and rituals are kept and still celebrated. The summer solstice is known to them as Alban Helfin, something like that, which means the light of summer or the light of the shore. The Druids originated in pre-Celtic inhabitants of Britain, and the word Druid means oak or doorway. And a Druid was someone who was wise in the ways of nature. Once upon a time, a Druid was a high-ranking professional in Celtic culture. They used to pronounce it Celtic back then, but you say Celtic, okay. And were often priests and healers. Even now, they are an active tradition based upon the spiritual interaction between the individual and the spirits of nature. Today, it is a spiritual or religious movement which is all about revering and syncing with the natural world. And each year there are 8 seasonal festivals, 4 solstices and 4 equinoxes. You see Jim nodding. Alban Helfin is the longest day of the year, the time of light, life, and the splendor of nature. In Cornwall, where I lived, boys and girls dressed in white and yellow are bedecked with flowers, and they dance, spinning around great bonfires. Young men whirl flaming brands above their heads to form sun wheels, and they even balance blazing barrels on top of poles. And the farmers scatter the resulting wood ashes in their fields, believing they have magical powers, which we now, of course, know Green Sanctuary is fertilizer with lime and potassium. The Druids also set standing stones in various places around the world. And you're all probably very familiar with Stonehenge, set on Salisbury Plain in England. Their uses are actually shrouded in antiquity, but Druids believe that they channel the solar current into the earth and offer blessings and healing to the land. In the Celtic world, before clocks and calendars, they had their festivals, which were measured by the penetration of a sunbeam into designated passages. And this longest day of the year is sacred to the white mare, M-A-R-E, and you can still see white horses on many chalk escarpments around the UK. And to this day, the order of bards, ovates, and druids, which I have seen at an annual investiture in Ukes, England, they still gather at the standing stones of Stonehenge. When the sun rises on the longest day of the year, the morning beams align perfectly with the stones and central altar to a chorus of "Arises the sun!" Druids did, and still do, practice healing with magical herbs. You say herbs, but I say herbs. Such as St. John's wort, which is a golden star-shaped flower, and Dana told me they're sort of invasive in his garden, but they are used to bring, you'll be glad to hear, peace and prosperity to the house, health to the animals, and a bountiful harvest. They are also thought to be filled with the energy of the sun at its peak. We, of course, know it today as an antidote to depression and insomnia, but a word of warning, don't take them if you're taking prescription medicines. I do have some seeds available if you would wish to plant them in your garden. And I would like to invite you, if Carla would give out the words for me, please, as you are willing and able, to join me as I finish in a traditional Druid blessing for summer solstice. have any AV magic. The name Alban Helfin is sometimes Alban Kathy. Alban Helfin, it's hard to translate into modern day English. And it's interesting, Dana and I were talking about them being called bards, and of course we know that word from Shakespeare, but it has a history of the priests who would be the orators, and has come down to us. Thank you, Carla. Jewish summer solstice blessing. You could join me, please.
We come together to celebrate the summer solstice, the zenith of the sun and the rich fullness of the year. Life swells into the sensual abundance of summer and the earth. Blossoms, colors, and perfumes are vivid and plentiful. Our senses feed upon the delights of long summer days and balmy, scent-filled nights. Under the warming touch of the sun, we open to the beauty around and within us.
And now we're going to have, and now we'll have another ritual. As you all can see, this is a seashell. And the seashell represents summer to me, going to the beaches, sitting on the sand, enjoying the sun, with sunscreen of course, and going into the cooler waters. We are going to have this passed around. When you get the shell, we would like you to say as loudly as you can just a few words about what summer means to you.
Summer, being with family and friends.
Summer, beauty, the flowers and the trees, and relaxing.
Summer, seeing all the beauty that is around me as I garden.
Summer, enjoying the native wildflowers.
Summer, enjoying just baking in the sun.
Summer is hot, 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 and seeing my grandkids and their dogs more.
Summer is sweet tomatoes and sweet corn.
Summer is being outdoors and enjoying the fresh air, the breezes, and all of the plants.
Summer is birds, beaches, and flowers.
Summer is gardening and realizing that nature rules and we submit to it, and also tasting fresh, delicious products.
Summer is the longer daylight.
Summer is gardening and the sounds of the birds and the walks along the shore.
Summer is spending as much time as possible outside.
Summer, the beach, hot days, warm nights, pride, and as the Slice and the Family Stone song, Hot Fun in the Summertime.
Yeah.
Thank you. Summer, long, light-filled days, soft, cool, early mornings and evenings, the feel of the air, the smell of salt water, the ocean, if you're like flowers.
Summer is an easier opportunity to enjoy the water, fresh and salt, and especially to be able to look across it while on top of it.
Summer is weeding and planting and enjoying flowers and outdoors.
Summer is traveling to visit family and friends, and go to New England for walks or walks.
And to you, Elaine?
The seashore and gardening. For our closing, we are going to have a responsive chant. It's only 4 lines. I will say the first line, and then you can repeat. May the long-time sun shine upon you.
May the long-time sun shine upon you.
All love surround you.
All love surround you.
And the pure light within you.
And the pure light within you.
Guide you on your way home.
Guide you on your way home.
And may we all meet again next year to celebrate the summer solstice. Thank you.
May we all. That was lovely.